This is our first white-collar boxing match of the night. Boxing, the rule set, only punches are allowed to land, only the gloved fist is allowed to land. It's pretty self-explanatory, Jack. I'm sure you can agree.
Yeah, there's no spinning back fists allowed as well.
No, not even professional boxing, so let alone white-collar.
Absolutely not.
Robbie Webb makes his way to the cage, a product of Gracie Barhart, affiliate with the Den Fight Center. He is in the ring against his opponent, Danny Powell.
We are underway for this boxing bout.
Very scrappy initial start. Danny Powell landed nice punches in combination there.
Yeah, pressuring him with both hands as well.
Robbie Webb landing a nice looping right hand on the counter, but I'd like to see more from him rather than shelling up and looking for counters so far. But we are early on in the fight, so nice head movement there. Stiff jab and a lot of pressure from Robbie Webb. Oh, but he gets rocked. Danny Powell on the offensive.
Yeah, Danny doing a good job using both hands, but they are in a set rhythm. It's very much left, right, left, right. It would be good to see him switch it up just a little bit.
Yeah, he landed a very good shot on Robbie Webb, but he seems to be recovered now.
And headhunt a little bit less, go to the body just to bring your opponent's arms down.
Exactly, yeah. With these boxing matches, you've got so many less weapons to use that you really need to think about what you're using, what punches you're throwing.
Nice jab there.
Goes down to the body. Danny Powell throwing out some nice feints and evading a couple of punches, but he got stung there. Looking to go for that body as you suggested, Jack, but from maybe a long distance.
A nice rear hand there.
Very nice right hand from Robbie Webb. Pace has certainly slowed after this first 30 seconds.
A lot of Danny's strikes are landing against the guard of Robbie. You know, they don't hurt as much as a clean strike, which Robbie has been able to land a couple of. But Danny's volume has definitely been the story of this round so far.
Absolutely, and nice defense there to evade the right hand. Ooh, good straight there. Robbie slips the second one. Beautiful unloading of shots of Danny Powell.
Yeah, he's very clearly into the rhythm with that 1-2. He feels comfortable with that. He goes to that instinctively, and you know, when it comes to fights like this, you can really only do what you think about instinctively. As nice as it is for us to be saying, oh, you should go for a left hook, you should double up on certain things. You know, when you're in there, you'll only be able to do what you can do like reflexively. So that's clearly what he feels most comfortable doing, and he had good success with it so far.
Absolutely.
Especially bringing it down to the body a little bit, just to remind his opponent that that's a target that he can use.
Yeah, Danny Powell out of Redditch MMA, 10th Planet Redditch. Very good first round from him. He did wobble Robbie Webb slightly there. Landed a lot of volume as we've discussed. What do you think Robbie Webb's corner should be telling him right now, Jack?
Slow it down a little bit, because when he is landing, they do seem to sting a little bit, and he's been landing around the guard of his opponent as well. So I think it's maybe get that on the counter whilst his opponent's charging in. Might be a lot more beneficial for him.
More. Okay, yeah.
What about you, Sam?
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Jack. He needs to slow the fight down, make it his pace, because Danny Powell seems much faster on the feet, and if you're trying to match his pace, you won't be able to. He's too quick. You need to fight at your pace, land the strikes you want to, and evade the strikes that he's throwing.
underway for the second round. Nice stiff jab to open it up. A lot of punches thrown in the flurry, but mostly against the guard.
Yeah, Danny Powell there landed a lot of strikes, a lot of them to the guard. 1 or 2 got through. You can see Robbie's face is very reddened from that barrage of strikes. Needs to collect himself and land a nice counter here, I would think.
The way that Danny's holding his front hand down low, you see it a lot in as part of what people call a shoulder roll, where you sort of hide behind your lead shoulder. He's not quite doing that full position.
No, and I think he's been caught once or twice from keeping that front hand low.
And it is a position you have to commit to, because if you are going to go front hand low, for example, like you see McGregor do it in MMA, you have to use your movement a lot more to be evasive. You can't just block with your gloves because they're not there.
Exactly.
So you have to keep your front shoulder raised, and you have to be down behind it. And that's why a couple of punches have been able to sneak through. It's a very effective guard in boxing. You've seen Poirier use it. He uses a reverse shoulder roll in MMA. It's very effective, but it is a difficult skill to master as well.
It is. And with these white collar matches, you won't see hugely experienced combat athletes. They will have been training a lot for this, but if you're trying to use a guard that requires a lot of skill, it's a risk. It's a risk, because if you're not quite mastered it, you could get caught. And Danny been doing very well in this fight, but he does leave some openings that could change the course of the fight at any moment. So maybe something he could train in the future.
Yeah, it's following a similar pattern to the first round as well. Danny being the aggressor and Robbie looking for those counters. And the thing about counter punching is you're aiming to do it whilst your opponent has overexposed themselves by missing a strike on you. But Danny's being quite non-committal with his strikes almost. It's straight out from his stance and straight back to his stance. So it's hard to land a counter on such a technique.
That concludes the second round. Another good performance there, in my opinion, from Danny Powell. Landed a lot of volume. I think, in my opinion, we do need to see more from Robbie Webb.
Yeah, I agree. He's shown us that he's got the capability to land strong shots. He seems to have the power advantage, but he's just not working in enough volume to be able to land those power strikes. As nice as it is to be the sort of powerful striker in the sort of Deontay Wilder mode, you do need to work in volume up to that point to get into a position to land it. You want to be able to throw your overhand at any point, but if somebody's being elusive and as the fight goes on and it gets harder, you need to work in a more attritive style as well.
Yeah, completely agree. And he hasn't been able to find that one shot yet. And Danny Powell, when he has been hit, he doesn't seem overly affected. So to find that one shot to win it all is going to be difficult, especially in these 16-ounce gloves. You know, they're big gloves. You can absorb more shots whilst you're facing someone in these 16-ounce gloves. So I think the pressure so far of Danny has served him well. If he's fit enough to continue that in the third and final round, then it should be a great performance from him. And as I say that, he lands a nice stiff 1-2. Presses Robbie back to the cage. Robbie looking for that big right hand, looking to set it up with that lead hand, but he's pressured against the cage now. And Danny Powell unloading a barrage of strikes, slips the counter. A lot of these shots are still landing to the guard for Danny, but in terms of what the judges are seeing, they'll certainly think that he's landing the more volume.
Nice slip of the jab there by Danny. Yeah, Danny looking to continue that flurry he's been doing thus far. Threw 8 or so punches there, but a lot of them landing against the guard of his opponent. But landing is landing, especially when his opponent isn't landing as much as him.
Yeah, Robbie's still looking for that one shot that's going to change it all. But I think he needs to get active now and put some pressure back on Danny.
And as the fight goes on, that one shot, even if you do land it, does have less power than it does earlier on in the round. And
Completely
even
agree.
earlier on in the fight.
Yeah, Danny's pressure serving him well.
Yeah, Danny's very well conditioned because he's kept up almost the same pace throughout this whole fight, constantly going in with that left-right flurry, and he's a very well conditioned athlete.
Yeah, and lovely footwork as well. I mean, he's been cutting off Robbie constantly, not letting him get away, not following him, but cutting off the cage to stand in front of him and land the shots that he wants to land.
And that's another thing to consider about this happening in the cage rather than the ring. If they were fighting in a traditional boxing ring, he would have had him cornered by now.
Absolutely.
But obviously the cage presents less sharp corners for you to trap someone in.
That's the third and final round over. Great display of heart from Robbie Webb. Great display of pressure from Danny Powell. We will go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision.
Yeah, I think Danny's got a very bright future ahead of him as a boxer. Really good awareness of where he is in the cage, and an excellent performance there. Showed fantastic conditioning.
Your winner by unanimous decision, Danny Powell.
Yeah, really strong performance there for Danny. Was applying the pressure throughout and kept up the same pace, which is just wilting if you're on the other end of it.